Hi, Damien here for Automotive Superstore. Floating screens in 10-inch, 11-inch and 11.6-inch are the largest for sale for automotive use right now. Here's the top 6 on the market for sale, so you can choose the perfect one for your application. Now, before we get started, let's talk about the specific type of screens we're talking about here with floating screens. What it means is there's a separate chassis that mounts into your dashboard, and the screen affixes to that and floats in front of your dashboard. That also means it can be adjusted sometimes up and down, sometimes it can tilt left and right, and it can tilt forward and backwards in many cases. Now, the installation for these is a little bit more complicated than a standard, say, doubled-in screen. In some instances, there's going to be some screws and mounting brackets and harnesses you need to plug in to connect between the screen and the chassis. In other examples, they've made it real easy for you. You can just slide the screen on and it just clips on and all the connections are done in one go. It really depends on which system each manufacturer has employed. Now, what's also important is these aren't the same as 10-inch trapezoid screens. The trapezoid screens are designed to be permanently fixed in the dashboard, and they require a specific fascia for that suits your specific vehicle. Now, to work out whether you can fit a floating screen or a trapezoid style screen for your car, or both in some cases, just put your vehicle's details into our finder. In the top right hand corner of our website, you'll see a drop down, put your registration in, the state that you're from, and then select your specific vehicle from the drop-down menu. And now you can go into car-specific head unit kits that will show you the head units and fascia kits and wiring harness assemblies that will suit your specific vehicle. In some cases, you'll suit a doubled-in screen, and that means you can fit either a doubled-in, a singled-in, or a floating type screen like these ones here. You might also have, or you might instead of, have access to buy those trapezoid style fixed fascias. In some cases, you'll have both of those to choose from. Lucky you, you can choose from every head unit on the market. Now, of course, all these units will do CarPlay and Android Auto. Almost all of them can also do that wirelessly as well as wired. They all have an internal powered amplifier that can drive the speakers in your car. If you need more power than that, they've all got front, rear and subwoofer RCA pre-outs to connect to external amplifiers. All but the most affordable has digital radio built in. That's really nice. They also all play back 1080p video, especially if it's in MP4 format from flash drive. And they all also play back high-res music files up to 96 kilohertz and 24-bit at least, as I've tested them for that. But one of these units is actually high-res certified. Now, you can compare any of these units on our website. Just simply go to the landing page where the head units are. On the side drop down, you can choose DIN style and go floating screens. You can select the size of screen. Then you can click in the top right hand corner of each of the units. You'll see this little icon here. And once you've selected 2 or more, you'll get prompted with a screen you can open up to compare those. Now, this screen's really great. Here we have all of the attributes we've decided that are most important to compare between models. This is unique to Automotive Superstore, and it means when you're buying, you know you're getting the absolute right head unit because you've compared it to all the other ones on the market at your price point. So first up are the most affordable units on the market with big screens. So we've got AirPro's AM1005. It's got a 10.1 inch screen and its RRP is only $699. And that's really about the price of a decent mid-spec doubled-in head unit. So that's pretty amazing. Then there's this one here, Kenwood's DMX7412XDS. It has a massive 11.6 inch screen, and it's under $1,000. It's $999 RRP. Then finally, there's this one here. So this is the AirPro Era 10D. Now its RRP is higher, it's $1,469 odd, but in reality, it's real street price, the price you'll probably pay from us is well under $1,000. So in the realms of the other two units that I've got here. So even at $699, the AM1005, it still has CarPlay and Android Auto wired and wireless. It's got two camera inputs, so front and rear, which is nice. It's also got dual USBs that are both 1.5 amps in charging. It's got a pretty solid DSP as well. So it's a 10-band graphic EQ combined with a fairly versatile two-way electronic crossover. So high pass, low pass for your front, rear and subwoofers. And it's also got 6-channel time correction. Now to keep the price down on this unit, it doesn't have iData Maestro, it doesn't have DAB radio, and the screen resolution is 1024 by 600. But really, if none of those things are a big concern for you, this is an absolute bargain, and maybe you don't need to spend a cent more. Now Kenwood's DMX7412 XDS has a massive pixel count, so it's 1366 by 768. What's also impressive is there is a 9-inch screen version that's identical to this, the 7409. The cost difference between the two is only $200. For Alpines and Pioneers to jump from a 9-inch screen to a 10 or 11-inch screen, the cost is $300 or $400. So the screen jump, the price jump, is actually really good value with Kenwood models. Now CarPlay and Android Auto are wired and wireless on the Kenwood. It also has wireless screen mirroring for both of those phone types. You get 2 camera inputs, and you've also got DAB radio built in. Now there's a single USB port with 2.1 amps of charging. The DSP is fairly basic in this one. It's a 10-band graphic EQ. The crossover, there's just a low pass filter for the subwoofer RCA pre-out. There's no high pass filter available on either the power channels or the RCA outputs. And that's probably fine if you just want a head unit that's going to power your front and rear speakers in the car and you don't run a subwoofer at all. If you do need a high pass filter, you'll need to enact that using an external amplifier going out of the RCA pre-outs. Now obviously Kenwood's skewed this model more towards getting a big screen, having that connectivity and having digital radio without all of the fancy DSP, but you can always add a high-end DSP to this at any stage. So then there's AirPro's Era 10D. Now this unit's a little bit older than the other ones in this buyer's guide. That means CarPlay and Android Auto are wired only, not wireless. It can do screen mirroring, but it's via the HDMI port, so you'd need to buy a Lightning or USB-C to HDMI adapter in the aftermarket. It does have dual USB ports though, and they're 1.5 amps of charging. The screen resolution is 1024 by 600. The DSP is not too bad. It's got a 15-band graphic equalizer. It's got front high pass, rear high pass, and subwoofer low pass filters that are variable in it, which is great. It's also got 6-channel time correction. The other thing is, it's probably going to be the most affordable big screen unit on the market that has DAB radio built in. And so if you really cherish that feature, but you're on a really tight budget, the Era 10D may be the way to go. Okay, so now jumping up to the premium end of the market in big screen head units. We have over here Pioneer's SPH Evo 107 DAB 1750 RRP. Here we have Kenwood's DMX 9724 XDS. This one's 1899 RRP, and in the middle here will be Alpine's ILX F511 AI 1999 RRP. Now, of course, they all share CarPlay and Android Auto, both wired and wireless. All 3 of them have DAB radio built in, and all 3 of them can connect to iData Maestro. So if you need that system for gauges and interface with your vehicle, all 3 of these units can work with an iData Maestro interface. The thing is, from here on, they all kind of differentiate themselves with specific features to make them different from each other. And so I'm going to use our comparison system and run through that to show you how that comparison system works and how we can compare the units and choose the right one. All right, so if we come down here, we can see that the Alpine ILX F511 AI has a screen size advantage. It's 11 inches versus 10.1 for the Pioneer and the Kenwood models, but all 3 are HD, so they're 1280 by 720 pixels. Now the Pioneer is the only one that has Bluetooth for dual phones at the same time, so that's really handy if you're a tradesperson. Now smartphone mirroring, it is possible on all three, but because these units are all a few years old now, you can't do it wirelessly for iPhones on any of the three of them. They're all wired in some fashion. The Kenwood and Pioneer models can do it wirelessly for Android phones though. Now note that if you want to do smartphone mirroring via HDMI, you'll need a third-party adapter. So HDMI to USB-C, say for Android style phones, HDMI to USB-C or Lightning for iPhones. Okay, so the Kenwood, it actually provides 4 camera inputs straight out of the box. So let's just say you've got a truck or a caravan, something you do a lot of reversing or a lot of towing. That's going to be really handy, and that's a standout feature for the Kenwood unit here. The Alpine and the Pioneer have dual front and rear camera inputs. The Alpine can be expanded to a 4-camera system. And to expand the Alpine to 4 cameras, you've got to buy their KCX-C250MC adapter and use either Alpine's proprietary cameras that plug straight into that, or you can buy their adapters and you can use an RCA-based camera for the camera positions you need around the car. Now for USB, Alpine's got 2, Kenwood and Pioneer have 1 port. The Alpine and the Kenwood have faster charging rates, so 2.4 amps for the Alpine, 3 amps for the Kenwood, but the Kenwood connector is USB-C only. Now the internal 4-channel amplifiers, and these are interesting, they're all rated at 50 watts by 4 maximum. But if we look at the RMS power, the Alpine 16 by 4, the Pioneer 22 by 4, but the Kenwood 29 by 4, almost double the power of the Alpine. That's really important if you only plan on powering the speakers in your car, the front speakers and the rear speakers, from the internal amplifier in the head unit, and you want it to play nice and loud. Maybe that's a reason alone just to choose the Kenwood. Now finally, let's compare the signal processing. That's one of the aspects of the higher end units that you're paying for. And in the Alpine, it's a really flexible 2-way electronic crossover. So high pass for the front stage, high pass for the rear stage, and low pass for the subwoofer. It does have a low pass for the front and rear outputs, but that's not particularly useful. So just consider it a 2-way crossover. It does have an excellent equalizer though. Each front left and right channel and each rear left and right channel has its own 14-band parametric EQ, and then there's an additional 4 bands for the subwoofer channel. A parametric EQ, what it allows you to do is not only can you change the boost or the cut rate of any of the frequencies, but you can actually adjust that center frequency. And you can also adjust something called the Q factor, which is the width or the narrowness of the boost or cut. And that's a super accurate way of tuning the system. Now both the Kenwood and the Pioneer have a 2- or 3-way crossover setup. So you can do front, high pass, rear, high pass, subwoofer, low pass, or you can do tweeter output, mid-range output, and then subwoofer output. So in the front stage of a car, you might have tweeters in the dash, mid-ranges in the doors, and you can control the frequencies to those individually. And that's a really great way of chasing really high sound quality in your car. Having a 3-way crossover gives you the ultimate in flexibility.
Now for equalizers, the Pioneer system's a straightforward 13-band graphic EQ, fixed centers with just boost or cut, and a bunch of EQ presets to choose from. Now Kenwood, you've also got a 13-band graphic EQ with fixed centers and a bunch of preset EQs, or you can use their parametric EQ system instead, giving you 9 bands of adjustment with variable center frequencies and variable Q, just like the Alpine system.
All 3 of these units also team that with time correction for all 6 channels. So choosing between these 3, while they're all similar in price, there are some key features that differentiate them from each other. Obviously the Kenwood, the 4 camera inputs is a big thing, the big internal power and amplifier, and I think the big rotary control volume knob. Now that's not suitable to everybody, but if your car doesn't have steering wheel controls, for example, that's a really amazing feature to have, and it might be a reason just to buy the Kenwood. The Alpine, well, I think if you don't need that 3-way crossover thing, just the signal processing of that parametric EQ, I think you'll achieve higher sound quality with that, potentially, as long as you know how to tune with it, than the other 2 units. Again, if you're just using high pass for the front, high pass for the rear, low pass for the sub. It's also the only unit that is high-res music certified. Now, All three of these units, in fact all of the units that I test, can play back high resolution FLAC and WAV files I test up to 96 kilohertz and 24-bit. It's just that the Alpine is certified to do so. Does that matter? Can you hear it? Well, that's a different conversation, but it is a differentiation between the Alpine and the other two. That just leaves Pioneer's SPH Evo 107 DAB. I think it's just a great all-rounder. It kind of splits the features between what the Alpine provides and what the Kenwood provides. One thing I do know though, it tends to be on discount fairly often at a pretty smoking deal. Actually much closer to the units in the lower price point category than the RRPs that these are at normally. And so based on that, that could also be the hot ticket to go for. So there's no easy winner here. They're all great units. So there's our roundup of 10-inch and larger floating screens. Now, as much as I'd love to pinpoint one of these models and say, yeah, run out and buy that one, that's the one to get, the fact is there's such a wide variance in price, performance, features, and specifications between these models. You really need to factor that in and think about what really matters to you and your application to choose the right model. I can say though, value for money wise, the AM1005 from AirPro is the one that I would choose if you're on a tight budget. That's because at $699 RRP, it's actually $50 lower in RRP than the cheapest 9-inch screen on the market, and so that makes it pretty incredible value. Now, if you want to check out an in-depth review on any of these, you'll see those on our YouTube channel. There'll be links down below to take you through to our website if you want to grab one. While you're down there, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.